So there is that level of solidarity because everybody did kind of start off in the same place, Africa, but because of history and mistakes of colonialism, they were separated artificially. And so there is like a growing movement of people trying to and again, I think I read an article, it was something along the lines of within South Africa, and there's like animosity. I'll try to find it, and maybe you could put it in the show notes. But there's tension between people. But so this movie's trying to like get people to kind of think beyond that and see kind of more of a brotherhood, because there is animosity within, like, if I know America, it's not really a thing like that, but like within like South Africa and things like that, like. Yeah, I'm not an expert, but I have read about it. So it's called Pan-Africanism.
Yeah. And I have heard a little bit about what's going on in South Africa, and there's kind of some really disturbing things that are afoot in South Africa. But anyway, okay.
You'll have to get somebody else to
there's
talk about that.
Yeah. There's a whole can of worms that we are, not really qualified to tease out and untangle. So, if any of the listeners actually have anything substantive to contribute on any of the topics that we've mentioned here today, I would absolutely love to hear from you. If you want to just like tell me how ignorant I am in how I've, analyzed these topics, I will be willing to listen to you, because for anybody who doesn't know me, and in case it hasn't already become very, very obvious, I am kind of the whitest whitey that ever did white. And so I don't pretend to have any sort of authority when speaking about issues of African Americans' plight or culture or anything.
Well, it's a step up that you realize that, because a lot of people don't go that far. They think they know everything, so you're a step up.
Yeah. Well, okay. Well, that's good, I guess. So one thing that I have been promising a listener that I would do, and have consistently failed for a good long while now, is to promote his webcomic. And one of our listeners, Andrew Robinson, has created a webcomic called Melchizedek, King of Justice. And he thought it would be appropriate to tie that into our Black Panther episode, because T'Challa is the king of Wakanda, and we have Melchizedek, King of Justice. So it's I'll post a link to the show notes, and you guys can check it out. It's sort of drawn in this sort of manga style, and the art isn't overly detailed, but it is. It's very consistently rendered. When I was reading the comic, I never was confused about, who the characters were. He's got sort of an interesting concept of where, the powers of his heroes come from, that they're descended from the Nephilim. Mm-hmm. And so, there's a lot going on there. It is interesting, and I would encourage you guys to check it out. I'll post a link to it in the show notes. Again, that is called Melchizedek, a King of Justice. And we also have some guaranteed good news, and it's a really cool thing that actually has to do with the Black Panther movie. Apparently, I did not know this. Apparently, there were no movies allowed in Saudi Arabia, Marilette.
Okay. Yeah,
they just don't. Mm-hmm. They don't have movies there. Except now they do.
Wow.
And the first Hollywood film ever to be shown in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia is Black Panther. And it's also loosened the regulations on what women are allowed to do. because most of the time they would have to have like an escort or something. Saudi Arabia is kind of a crazy place to be a woman. But with the release of this movie, they have made some reforms.
Wow.
Like women, were able to go to this movie by themselves without an escort to see a movie. Like, and it's something that we super just take for granted. And like to go and see a movie by yourself, here in the States is kind of like a loser thing to do, and I don't really enjoy it. But like, if you to think about the idea that the opportunity and the freedom to go and see a movie by yourself would be just like a revolutionary thing is kind of crazy. And the article goes into a lot more detail on just what exactly is going on there and what it means in Saudi Arabia. But I thought that was super cool. That really we're seeing some more freedom there, and that it has to do specifically with this piece of comic book superhero cinema. So, yeah. All right. Well, that's gonna pretty much wrap it up for us on this episode today. Marilette, I really appreciate you being here, and thanks for your insight. We'll post a link to all your stuff in the show notes. Guys, you should just like subscribe to her blog and like read the stuff that she writes, because it's thoughtful and it's thought provoking and it's worthwhile. So that's MarilletteSanchez.com, right?
Yep,
is
right.
your blog. And then also thinkchristian.net is another place where she contributes. And yeah, that's going to be it for us tonight. Thanks for listening again. And I can't stress this enough. Like, I really do want to hear from you guys and know what you think. Even if you think that I'm wrong, that's totally a viable option. and I want to hear it even then. You can reach us on all kinds of social media platforms. We're on Twitter and Instagram at 2GeekSoup. The Facebook page is 2GeekSoup, and the email address where you can write to me is 2geeksoup@gmail.com. 2GeekSoup is recorded at SoundMind Studios with production support by Lee Earnhardt. And even though it probably means that I am the ill-prepared substitute teacher, this podcast is a proud member of the More Than One Lesson faculty.